Good morning traders, welcome to the Phoenix Blue morning update for Friday the 15th of April. I'm Tom Colley and I'll be taking you through the markets and the news this morning. Today we're going to focus on some of our commitment of traders or COT analysis and show you how this helped us get into a couple of trades that are doing very nicely over the last couple of days. And before we do that, let's take a look at the news. We'll start with yesterday. Well, the first thing we had was the official bank rate from the Bank of England. Nothing unexpected there whatsoever. That rate has, and I put this chart here because I really thought, well, I'll just have a look back and remind myself how long it's been. And this just shows you, this is March 2009 when rates went to the current 0.5%. This area here, which not all of you will remember, but actually this is an area of what might be described normal interest rates. This is the post-crash 0.5% area, and this is the reason that there's so much volatility in the markets these days. The reason being is in a recovery you expect interest rates to rise again, as such that when something starts to go badly again, there is an armoury in terms of rate reductions to fight worsening conditions. Obviously in this scenario that doesn't exist. This is why we're seeing quantitative easing. This is why we're seeing negative interest rates around the world, and we're in very uncertain times because of that. Anyway, going forward from there, in China overnight we had industrial production figures that came in quite strongly. The news out of China has been quite positive in the last couple of weeks. So markets are somewhat buoying on that, particularly the Australian dollar, which is seeing some strength because China's its major trading partner for all its commodities. What do we have to look forward to for today? We have the Canadian dollar manufacturing sales and the consumer sentiment figures out at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Right, let's go and have a look at Asia for a start. And we're looking at weekly charts this morning. It's Friday, so it's somewhat a summary of the week. This is the Shanghai Composite, the composite of the Chinese equity markets. We've now had for 6 weeks what constitutes, or above this trend line, which constitutes a positive move in the composite index. This first level of resistance here is the 2015 lows that we've been watching really since the end of 2015, in all honesty. We've another level here coinciding with this downward trend line here. I would suggest that if the composite gets above that level, breaks that trend line, and confirms that, then we potentially have somewhat of a recovery in Chinese equities. I'm not expecting that we'll see these levels up here, which were clearly very much overblown, but anything around these sort of levels here will constitute, shall we say, the new normal. Okay, over on the Nikkei, well, here again we've got what is a significant level through here now. We've had price that came down dramatically, recovered to this level, dropped strongly again the last couple of weeks, because again this is the weekly chart, but we've had a bullish this week as you can see. But again, this level becomes critical. Will we see price break this level? We've got sort of a double bottom formation here. That's the top of the neckline. For that to play out, we'll need it to break above that level, close above that level and come back before we would think of trading that. Okay, over to what I mentioned we'll be talking about today, which is our COT analysis. Those of you who don't know anything about this, the COT, it stands for Commitment of Traders. That's a report that's legally provided by certain parties trading in the futures market in the States. That data comes out on a weekly basis, and it's that information that we analyse. We specifically follow what are called the commercial participants. These are participants who do not speculate, they trade the futures markets in order to operate their businesses. So they're buying and selling the actual products effectively, rather than doing what we're doing, which is speculating on the underlying market. So what we see here is one COT signal on the US dollar index. This signal suggests that the commercial entities are preparing to buy. What we've seen this week, we've seen the bullish move on the dollar. Our bias has been long the dollar over the mid to long term, even through this period. All the time down here, we were still bullish the dollar. We haven't as yet confirmed very much here. We've had a bullish move, and when we move on to the other charts, we'll see how that correlates with our COT signals, and we'll do that now. We go over to the weekly chart on the Euro USD. On this chart, we've got a corresponding COT signal, so the commercial entities in the futures markets are looking or preparing to sell this market. This is what our signal tells us. It correlates with the US dollar, and we've seen a substantial move down in the euro this week. In fact, we're in a trade and we're about 200 pips up at the moment on a 40 pip stop, so that's a 5-to-1 return. Our stops are at break even, or you'll see that's our entry. Our stops are already at that level. We've taken profits off the table, and we've another entry that we're looking for a potential pullback to add in. And I've already highlighted a number of zones here that I'll be looking at as price breaks to add in further down. But to reiterate, at this point we've got profits in the bank, we've got no risk on the table, and we're looking to add in. All because our systems allow us to work with a very tight stop. It means we can be profitable very quickly and also get our risk off the table, so we're not concerned. It doesn't cost us anything if this trade then doesn't do what we're expecting and moves back against us, because no, we haven't made as much profit as we anticipated, but we haven't lost anything. In fact, we've already banked profits. Okay, over on the Swiss dollar, this is exactly the same, but its corresponding COT signal is inverse to the euro, but the same as the dollar index. So again, we've got commercial buyers in this market, commercial participants in this market preparing to buy. So what we've got here is that signal. What we've got again is another substantial bullish move. Again, we got in early. We've got our stops at break even. We've got money in the bank. This is roughly at this moment in time 160 pips up. So that's a 4-to-1. So that's one 4-to-1 trade and one 5-to-1 trade in the last 3 days. We did, if you look back in the videos, we always own up to when we've had losses. We had a couple of losses earlier in the week, but the nature of our trading means that when we are profitable, we're very profitable, so we offset those losses much more efficiently. Okay, that wraps up things for today. Just to draw your attention, what we've been talking about is the Phoenix Blue Pure Analysis System. You'll notice our charts are very clean. We rely on price action and no lagging indicators. We're buying and selling with the banks. We trade with a fundamental bias. There it is. And we use the commitments of traders analysis. These are independent signals from a different market, and I've only talked about one signal there. There are many more signals and a lot more information that we glean from the commitment of traders analysis. Now, if you want to learn about this or just understanding a little bit more about this, please email us at info@phoenixblue.co.uk. There we go, and we can talk to you about that. Also, we 40 pip stop losses, because our analysis is so accurate, because we're using fundamental, technical and commitment of traders analysis. Our analysis is very, very accurate, which allows us to use small stops, and that's the secret to how we can be more profitable with a smaller percentage of winners. Now, if you're looking to improve your results, to move your trading onto the next level, do email us at info@phoenixblue. There's no commitment. We'll just have a chat with you. We do a half-hour consultation to see whether the way you trade or the level that you're at is compatible with what we do. So please don't hesitate to contact us. If you want to speak to me about anything specifically about this video, I'm at tom@phoenixblue.co.uk. So all that remains is for me to do is to say have a good weekend, and I hope you've had a successful trading week like we have. Take care. Bye now.